Welcome to Season 4 of Skillcast, the podcast by the London Organisation of Skills Development. My name is Nurbanu and I'm your host. I couldn't be more excited to embark on this new season with you. In Season 4, we're pushing boundaries and exploring the forefront of skills development. We'll discuss emerging trends, innovative practices, and the evolving landscape of professional growth. Our lineup features thought leaders, industry pioneers, and change makers who are redefining what's possible. Whether you're aiming to future-proof your career, ignite your passion, or simply enjoy insightful conversations, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome to Skillcast.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure being here.
Oh, thank you. How would you like to introduce yourself?
I would say that I'm a serial entrepreneur. We've been working in the space of media communication, brand strategy, and events for about 32 years now. I closely work with the space of digital transformation as well as content in the temple and the spiritual economy across the world.
Oh, wow. 31 years. Wow. So is that the first career you had, or was this something you were doing before that?
So this was something which I started my venture when I was merely in my 11th standard. When I was 17, I accidentally went and visited a fashion event. The event was not well organized. So I was kind of a bit, disturbed with the way they put it across. And the organizer was just sitting in front of me. He said, it's easy to come in, but very difficult to put up something like this. So it took me 6.5 months to put a similar event in place and put a large fashion gathering there. And there is where I became an accidental event manager. And that's been the journey for the past 31 years. We've been there, seen that, build brands, promoted brands, work very closely with a lot of artists globally, and also temples, which has been an integral part of my journey, managing them, systematizing the approach, and building the ecosystem for humanity is what we try to do.
Oh, wow. So accident, event manager, and the fact that you've had so many years experience as well. So you definitely have an eye for what people are doing wrong, what they could do better. So I know you recently came to one of the LOSC events, so I know you're going to give me some feedback after. You're going to give it to me behind the scenes, let's just say. So what does it take to build a good event?
See, largely when you talk about any event, it's all about detailing and having an eye for detail. When you talk about an event that has so much of content, so many people involved, so many people from various walks of life, putting them together under one roof, what you all perfectly did yesterday, was an amazing get-together as well as a well-organized gathering. I would also appreciate the way you've pulled on some of the best people from the world and put them together under one roof, put their talent and their experience for the benefit of your followers as well as more skill development happening in London as well as beyond boundaries. So I think one of the best things for a good event manager is to be highly self-critical about what we need to learn from the past events and how we can improve that experience. The customer is always the god, and creating a brilliant experience for the person who attends the event is the key. If you understand that formula well, you've done it right.
So talk to me about feedback. So obviously people are very nice. Nobody wants to say anything bad about you because people just don't like you to grow and be better at what you do. How do you really get the true feedback, how people really feel? Because obviously people are going to gossip. People are going to gossip in the corners. How can you is there a strategy? Is there something that you'd suggest, like a spy or something, to find out what people's real views are, or how do you get the truth out of people?
What is very important is to have a very active team. The team's feedback is the greatest feedback because they know what went right, they know what exactly went wrong. They truly know what can be managed and coordinated better. So first of all, feedback from our own team is to be given priority. Feedback from all visitors is 50% formal. They'll give you 50% formal feedback about how the event was lovely and so on. But the remaining 50% needs to come to them immediately when you send them a emailer post the event, and when you ask them for their inputs. You have two formats. One is open-ended questions as well as pointer systems. So don't forget to send them an email within 48 hours of your event. And apart from that, if there is any grievance or any people who've not been happy with you, don't delay in reaching out to them and finding out what exactly could be improved in the coming times. And I think being honest to anyone is the best thing, because at the end of the day, if we were short somewhere, we will do our best to improve in the coming times. And we always appreciate feedback positively. So being prompt and up to date after the event in the next 48 hours is the key.
Okay, let's go back to your first fashion show that you did and that you pulled off in 6 months. And I know you did a really good job of that fashion show.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any events post that grand event that was not successful, that kind of put you off trajectory and you had to kind of build yourself back up?
So I can consider myself very fortunate and lucky that if we have done over a couple of thousand events across 58 countries, we were bang on. And we did not have that kind of an experience. But we had situations where our event could have been either sabotaged or either would have been facing a lot of negative clash. Imagine on a 31st December New Year's party in a place in India where it's supposed to be windy and cold, it rains like cats and dogs on a 31st December. And imagine you still have to pull off the event. So on the 30th afternoon of 30th December 2000, it was an event where we were setting it up, and it was an outdoor event. And we had mad rains, which kind of spoiled the entire equipment setup. And we had already sold out about 4,500 tickets. And we had to pull it up, make the best happen, change the theme, and make the event happen. But we made the event happen. It was successful. It was sold out. And we had a houseful board outside with a lot of satisfied people celebrating the New Year's Eve. So, yeah.
I mean, in India, like with the Bollywood movies, they make everything romantic when the rain comes down. So I think that's probably in your favor as well. Okay, I want to pick on this now. You said 4,000 people at an event. How do you do this? Like, how do you get 4,000 people at an event where there is issues like critical things like the rain?
So truly speaking, when we look at events, India is a large country. The amount of footfalls, the amount of people interested in events and gatherings because of the huge follower base is heavy. Also, when you talk about events, it's all about planning it well. It's all about commercially making it viable, as well as creating right points for attracting that kind of an audience. I should share this with you. The event, in the entire event industry, the smallest event I have done is with a gathering of 12 people at Falak Ballroom at Burj Al Arab in Dubai. And the largest event we have done is with 685,000 people at a gathering per day for 3 days. And that was, again, a huge concert spread over 3 nights. So the point is, if you know how good you can do your job with the right set of team and the right set of planning, because 90% of our work when it comes to events is pre-event, when we plan the event. So it has been critical and crucial in its own capacity. But I think as we get older with that experience, we're getting better with it.
So how do you manage like an entire team? Like, do you just like do you delegate, or do you kind of get a specialist in each expertise?
These many number of years have helped us create our own verticals and our team, which is very strong back there in India. So you have experienced one of the gatherings at Tirupati, and you've seen the kind of coordination and the execution and people and the delegation whatsoever. So I think we've evolved over a period of time. It's getting into the right groove and being fortunate that we have the right set of people helping us. There are specialists, there are vertical specialists who are third-party agencies and specialists who execute a lot of work. But choosing your right partners is also very important.
So I think that's really key point, actually. Don't just do everything yourself. Do delegate, get right expertise, because that really elevates your events. Because like you said, I recently came to one of your events in India, in Tirupati. It was a temples convention, and
the visuals were very, very high quality and very high tech, and I could tell this was sourced out by specialists. It wasn't just an ordinary person on the team that was just creating on Canva. This was real high quality tech and specialism and sound and everything, and everything was very well created, and there was obviously a lot of thought that had gone into creating such a big convention, a big event like that. So when you create these big events, how long in terms of planning wise what would you say is a reasonable time frame?
So ideally, we did the first International Temples Convention and Expo in 2023 at Varanasi, which is in another state of India. And it took us 4.5 months to put that event in place. And this time it took us about 7 months to put this event end to end, because last time we had about 1,000 odd delegates. This time we had about 2,500 delegates per day. So about 7 to 8 months is a sizable amount of time that we could say comfortably, because we are well experienced and we understand the topic well. So our dependability is not on any third party or an external factor. Temple Connect, which is the company that I run, has expertise and bandwidth of running these aspects. And having said that, with our journey as an event company for past 31 odd years, we understand the eventing aspect well, from the speakers management to sound light production to decor, and everything what you saw was in-house. So it was not something which was created outside or outsourced. Having said that, it's important that we plan well, and the gathering that you all have done, it's phenomenal here. It's good to meet such wonderful people that you've honored and have brought them under one roof. So I think you are already a sorted event manager yourself, and in coming times I have mentioned it to Dr. Somani that I'm going to borrow your time to come over and be a part of our larger gatherings.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm actually not really into events. To be honest, I don't really like to entertain people, if I was being completely honest with you. I think it's too much effort to get too many people together. But at the same time, I know the value of it. I do see getting great minds together under one roof creates great connections and future prospect in terms of collaboration.
Yes.
Because you never know, like two people completely, because there was someone that came to one of our conferences actually, and they actually hosted their own event completely from different countries. One person was from France and the other lady was from Australia. They no clue who each other was. They met, they connected really well, and they've actually started their own counseling company, which is amazing. And they're actually coming on as speakers, as a collaborative piece at a retreat that we're doing in the summer this year. So we're doing a retreat, and they've come together. They were like, we've come to your event, we've become best friends, and we want to come speak. So it's that connection, we've built connections, and now we're all working together. So it's really, I do see the benefit. And yes, it's stressful. Yes, you're running around. And the thing is, as an event manager, you know everyone, you know all of the delegates, you know all the people that you're inviting. So you end up having to do a lot of the back end stuff that you should technically get staff to do. So obviously we had staff of people that were working for us, but at the same time, I still had to go do a lot of the running and still calling people and still connecting with people. And I see that, but I'm just always thinking, is there a way around it? Or I can just sit back and just enjoy my own show. So that's always something, because I know even in Europe, and I saw you were kind of doing a running, even though you should have just been sitting on the stage, but you still got up and you still had to go backstage. It's like, guys, speed up, keep going. Yeah. So I don't know, that's always been on the back of my mind. Can we ever create a team that can read our mind, that can do what we're thinking without us having to tell them to do something?
And let me tell you something. However AI is maturing, AI cannot think the way humans think, because the human touch, the human connect, the human interface, and the human presence of mind cannot be taken away by AI. So that's the reason why it's called the artificial intelligence, and we are the original intelligence. So I think let's stick to our original intelligence much and make the most for the benefit of everyone around in here.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of artificial intelligence, how's that feeding into your events business? And you maybe to help me a bit about the Temple Connect as well. How are you utilizing AI?
So when you talk about AI or any artificial intelligence, it needs to be fed first. Until and unless we feed that monster in the right way, It cannot come back to you with the right answers. So when you Google something, until and unless it's not been put up online, no one can read it. So AI can only create or recreate based on the combinations which are existing in the backend. But when you talk about innovation, when you talk about eureka moments, when you talk about creativity, these are some things when you talk about various people related to the fashion garment industry to construction to multiple avenues. AI today is doing a job of creating a shortcut, but it cannot be considered as the permanent solution. When you talk about the temple economy today, or any place of holy worship, to give a better example to your audience, information about all these places and information about where these places are, how these places can be connected, how you can go there, what are the different tools available to take you there, and more, can be created by AI. But at the same time, it's only that information which the machine has been fed with, so which is called as machine learning process and so on. We have to understand that our mind is far more organized and far more detailed and experienced than an AI device. So it's going to make the coming generation a bit lazy. But, times are changing, and hope that even if solutions come out very easily, the remaining time that you save doing use of AI is utilized for the benefit of doing right proactive work rather than only depending on AI.
I think AI works very well, especially when you've got like the CRM and things. So you know how you said about setting up the follow-up surveys and things. When you've got a machine doing it for you, I think it really takes off strain of other process, and it gives you more time to step back and go back into your creativity side, because every event you need that creative edge and something different. So let's go back to your events in terms of sales, and getting people through the door. How is it that? What is the strategy behind that?
See, largely when you talk about sales, one thumb rule which I have been following for life, I may say that it's my thought which I have communicated across various stages across the world, is that I never sell you what I want to sell you. I sell you what you're ready to buy. So when I know that you're ready to buy a product, you'd be more proactive consuming it. Now, if I produce something very well, but if the market does not understand its taste, it's not going to be sold. So preferably working towards what the audience needs, what the customer or the consumer needs. At the same time, every country has a different market, has a different requirement. So when you weave through the texture and the fabric of these different requirements, you can create a brilliant outfit out of it. So I think over a period of time, being prompt, being very open to inputs and criticism, being very open to value add and change, and being on your toes is the key, because at the end of the day, it's very important for us to not leave it to just the staff or the manpower or the team, but as promoters, as business owners, it's important for us to be on the toes. Yes, there is a manpower, there are resources, but when you need to cross-check a lot of stuff, you need to cross-check that. So sales, business development, marketing, communication, and branding has to be the promoters or the directors' area of interest to drive his or her business in a larger way. If we do that well, we would be in a very successful position, because we would be the ones who will celebrate that achievement.
To get people to events, do you find you need influencers or celebrities kind of help with the whole sales process, or do you think you can manage without these figures?
So many years back, I'm sure the earlier generations, there was nothing called as social media, there was nothing called as digital media, there was nothing called as influencers, and there was nothing called as celebrity endorsements. It is all picking up now. Yes, it is a need of the hour, but it's not complete. It's not something without which the event cannot multiply. So when you visit any food joint today in the UK, if you go to a Nando's for that matter, why do you go there? Because you know the taste is very good. You know the food served is hygienic, clean, and of the best capacity. You don't go there because your neighbor is promoting you to go there, or some influencer. You definitely look at the offers and the value adds which they would give it to you on the social media of a discount and a combo pack. But you primarily go there because you like the taste. So when you look at any of your preferences, it's because you like it, you prefer it and you afford it. Otherwise, you would not end up, because otherwise, have you seen Rolls-Royce doing a job of any influencer marketing or Mercedes-Benz or any of those large car companies doing a marketing through influencer marketing? They won't. They'll ask you to come and try the car, because when you drive the car, you like the experience, you would yourself want to own it. So it is a partial way of a combination. Yes, it is helpful, but it is not the final, nail in the coffin, I would say, where your final decisions comes based on that alone. It's a combination of a few.
But then I find with a lot of events, they really struggle to get sponsorships and investors because they don't have the influencer. How can they trust a brand in the early stages, essentially, to sponsor them?
So primarily getting the right partners is very important. We all struggled getting into sponsorships in the earlier stages of life. We were extremely bad when it comes to going to people, collecting, giving them information about our product, and then they considering giving us the money. So the initial few years is a large, progressive effort. Oscars were not that big, or Golden Globe were not that big year one of the event, till the time they established themselves. We will have to be consistent. We will have to keep going and convincing people through our good work that we're doing. But I think someday, I believe in this one phrase very strong: when the night is the darkest, that is when the first ray of light comes. So I think till the time you don't get the sponsorship is the darkest night that we are living. And when we start getting them, it's the sunrise for all of us.
That's a really beautiful way to end this podcast. Thank you so much for enlightening us on.
Looking forward for many more across the globe. Thank you very much.